NFL Week 4, college football Week 5 preview and betting picks. Alex, we're doing this exclusively on YouTube this time, mixing it up for you guys. Let's start this with the Thursday night football game. Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants. Look, the Cowboys have owned the New York Giants in recent years here. Dallas is 13-1 straight up. They're 11-3 against the spread versus New York going back to 2017, including a 6-1 straight up record against the spread at MetLife. Is there any reason to think that the Giants should be the side here? I mean, are you taking the Giants with the points? What do you think? Is this a get right game for Dallas? What are you thinking about this matchup?
It could be a get right game for Dallas. They are giving up 6 points, and I am shocker gonna take the Giants here. I'm gonna roll with
Okay.
the Giants. I'm gonna take the points. I think this is gonna be a big game for that defense to finally have a breakout game on the defensive side. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau. I think they're gonna have a breakout game against Dallas, and we're gonna see a defensive battle, low scoring. And I'm actually going to take the under as well. I think the under is about 50 or 45, if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually going to take the under as well. That defense is going to show up. I think Dallas is trending downwards, as we talked about in our preview of the season.
Yeah, they haven't looked very good. This is a tough matchup, though. I think this is a get right game for Dallas, though. And I think this is a team that's absolutely needs this game. They've got to get back on track. And I think this is the perfect team for it because the Giants, like I've said, historically have just really struggled. Now, to your point, I think the Giants' front four could cause problems in this game. That's a matchup I'm circling for sure. But I'm on the other side here. I'm going to take Dallas. I'm going to lay the points here. Let's stick with the NFC East. We've got the Eagles and the Bucks. I think this is a really good matchup, Alex. Now, Todd Bowles, quite frankly, has had Jalen Hurts and the Eagles number. The last two times they've played in the playoffs, 2021, 2023, in the wild card rounds, the Bucks have dominated both of those games. Now the Eagles are missing some key guys. Hurts has been turnover prone. I love the Bucks here, Alex. Give me a home dog. They're getting 2.5 points in this matchup. I think this is a tough matchup for the Eagles. I really like the Bucks here. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the Bucks too. Like you said, I believe they lost some offensive linemen during that game. We know I don't know if Devonta Smith is going to be back. I'm pretty sure he may be trending down. And then AJ Brown also is not there. However, on the fantasy side, everybody should be running to pick up J, J, Dallas Glider if you don't have him, but you should be starting him. And then perhaps we finally get to see something from Jahan Dotson, their late trade pickup from the Commanders, who's a decent receiver who should see a lot of looks this game. So in daily fantasy, you should be looking at those two players a lot. And I am 1000% on the betting side going to take the Bucks and the points and take the over.
Okay, you like the over here. Yeah. I think this is a tough matchup. I think that Bucks defense matches up really well, especially with some of those weapons gone, like you mentioned. I think they can put a lot of pressure on these guys. Now, this is going to have to be a big Saquon Barkley game, and I think Hurts is going to have to be a factor on the ground as well if they're going to have any chance in this one. I'm surprised by this line. I really am. So I this might be my favorite bet of the week, Alex, getting a home team that I really like and I think is being undervalued once again here with the Buccaneers. Sunday night football, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. This is a great Sunday night matchup. Look, Josh Allen and the Bills might just be playing the best football in the NFL right now. The Ravens are a tough matchup, though. We know what this team is capable of. They need this one. This is going to be a hungry Ravens team after a slow start to the season, but the Bills are getting 2.5 points here. Look, I can't pass on that. Even on the road, and I know Baltimore is a tough place to play. With what I've seen from this Bills team, the way Josh Allen is playing right now, give me the Bills and the points here.
Well, as I'm looking, because there was one thing I needed to check. Yeah, I am going to take the Ravens here, and I'm going to lead the points. One thing that I've seen from the Dolphins over the past 3 weeks is they have been giving up a lot in the run game. And now here comes Lamar, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill. So, and they're not good at stopping the run. So I'm going to take Lamar and lay the points here. I trust what Lamar's done. I trust what the Ravens are doing. I trust that they're trying to right the ship. And one of the things that we saw that I thought was very important from a leadership standpoint on that airplane, Marlon Humphreys going around live because he was happy they beat the Ravens, excuse me, beat the Dallas Cowboys. Lamar Jackson was not happy with that win, and we talked about that win on the podcast. You can go ahead and check us out on what we thought about that game. But he was not happy about that win. He didn't think it was a thorough win. He thought that they were sloppy at the end of the game. So he's coming in laser focused. And as the leader of this team, when you have a guy like that, I don't want to be facing that team, especially at home.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good matchup. I think it's a really fun matchup. Really, really good Sunday night football game. And look, I don't feel great about the Bills here. I just think with the way they're playing, getting some points here, I think is value. But with that being said, I think this is going to be a really dialed in Ravens team. And to your point, if they're able to run the ball and control the clock here, which I think they might be able to, it could be tough for this Bills team. Let's shift to Monday Night Football, Alex. Doubleheader. We're going to skip over one of those games because, quite frankly, it's a dud. But we've got one Monday night game that looks pretty good. We've got Lions, Seahawks. Lions offense looked better in week 3, especially inside the red zone. The Seahawks defense, though, has been lights out. New head coach Mike McDonald, obviously, speaking of the Ravens, former defense coordinator last year, he has this team really playing well on that side of the ball, especially. Now, Seattle hasn't been great in the red zone. This is a tough road environment on Monday night. You know, this Detroit crowd is going to be fired up for this one. I like Detroit in this game, but Seahawks are getting 3.5 points here. And that's a key number because we know once you get over 3 points, you're getting more than a field goal value wise from a betting standpoint. To me, that's too much value for a good Seahawks team. And give me the points. I'm going to take Seattle plus 3.5 on the road. I think this is going to be a great game. I like Detroit here, but I think the betting side is Seattle.
Well, on my end, I am confidently taking Detroit. One, the Seahawks have faced Bo Nix in Denver, Jacoby Brisket with the Patriots, and Skylar Thompson with Miami. So yeah, that
Good
defense
point.
has been playing well, but they haven't played anybody. So
Yep.
what I'm looking at here is the Lions are coming in to me a little bit more battle tested. They have been up and down. They haven't been looking like they looked that week when they decided to put the Rams away and bully them around the field. And I think they're making a choice because coming into this year, there was a little bit of back and forth as who was going to be the starting running back. They tried it with Jameer Gibbs, and now as you look through the snaps, it's balancing back out and tipping the hands in the favor of David Montgomery, who's been a better running back this year than Jameer Gibbs, as well as their closer in previous games. So I'm gonna lay the points here, and I'm gonna take the Lions.
Okay. I like it. Let's shift to Saturday. We've got some big time college football matchups. This is the biggest game of the weekend. No disrespect to the NFL here, but we've got number 4 Alabama. We've got number 2 Georgia. This is a big time matchup in the SEC, big time game that could have some serious college football playoff implications. Really big game for Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer. Now, he's coming over obviously as a new Alabama head coach. He has Alabama rolling once again since taking over for the GOAT, Nick Saban, of course. But here's the matchup I'm looking for. I think Georgia has the defense that they're going to try to really swarm the running game, slow down that running attack, and they're going to try to force Alabama and Jalen Milroe to beat them through the air. Now, the crowd at Tuscaloosa, we know, is going to be absolutely insane. But a couple weeks ago, we saw Kentucky might have left a blueprint here for Alabama to read. I like Alabama here. Two great teams, and this should be a great game. I think it's going to live up to the hype here, Alex. But I can't go against Alabama getting 2 points at home. I know Georgia is a very good football team, but I like what I've seen from Alabama. I think this offense is explosive, and I think they match up well. Give me the points. I think the value is there for the home team.
Yeah, I have to say I'm with you on that, and I think don't underestimate Caldebor in terms of what he's going to be able to do with Jalen Milrow. I think he's got a few plays in here because we know Georgia's going to be loading up for the run. And what does that mean? One on one on the outside. And the way this freshman Ryan Williams has been looking, I think there's going to be at least 2 to 3 opportunities for him to show why he's been flashing all year long. And then I think there'll be some other wrinkles that Cumberland's going to unload and or rather unleash and show the world why he was chosen over probably a lot of other people to be the head coach of this team. So I'm taking Alabama as well.
Yeah, what a great game that one's going to be. Can't wait for Saturday night. We've got a big time game in the Big Ten. Number 19, Illinois. Number 9, Penn State. Look, the Illini, this is a tough defensive team. They've got a quarterback that I talked about on the last week's podcast. This guy has got my attention. Beating Nebraska on the road Friday night as an 8.5 point underdog. That was an impressive win. Both of these teams come into this game undefeated. Illinois can run the ball, and I think they're going to be able to run the ball versus this Penn State front. That is the matchup I'm circling in this game. I think they're going to be able to keep this game close, at least a lot closer than people expect here. Give me Illinois plus 17.5. That it's just too many points. I think there's way too much value here for me to ignore. Don't get me wrong, Penn State should win this game at home. But I think Illinois is going to shock some people and make this a lot closer than people expect.
And I think that's what the key thing is here. Penn State is going to win. I picked Penn State to win. However, because you said 17 on ESPN, they're giving 19. So somewhere in the middle, let's just call it 18, however you want to look at it. That's too many points, and I think Illinois is going to be ready for this game. However, the environment that's in Penn State, when they start that music playing and they get there, and when Illinois tries to line up for their first snaps, I think they're going to be a little bit too intimidating, and it's going to mess with them all throughout the game. But those 17 points, I have to take those 17 points and take Illinois. But to win the game, I'm still taking Penn State.
Number 15, Louisville. Number 16, Notre Dame. Look, Louisville is coming off of a 31-19 win against Georgia Tech in week 4. Notre Dame beat Miami of Ohio 28-3. Notre Dame is at home here. I think that's a key. Now, they have a balanced offense. They have a great defense, maybe one of the better defenses in the entire country. But they haven't been tested like this. Not yet. And I don't know if they can slow down this high-powered Louisville offense. The Louisville offense has scored 45.3 points per game, 308 passing yards, 194.3 rushing yards per game. Look, these guys can move the ball, man. And I think this is going to be a battle of a great explosive offense versus a very stout defense. But if Louisville starts putting up some points, I don't know if Notre Dame can hang in the shootout here. So I think this game is going to come down to Notre Dame having to make stops. I'm not sure they've been tested like this. I'm taking Louisville plus 6.5. And I think that they've got a chance to win this game outright, but I really like the value with the 6.5 points.
Well, I'm going to take Louisville outright and the 6.5 points. I think
Okay.
they're gonna beat Notre Dame. And again, similar to Florida State, I don't know why they chose this quarterback to lead this team. Riley Leonard is not a good quarterback. I am sorry. He's not a good quarterback that's set up to lead a team of this magnitude. So they're going to get in Louisville. If Louisville gets up 10, simply 10, Notre Dame, I'm sorry, 7. Notre Dame is in trouble if they're playing from behind because Riley Leonard is not a good quarterback for this team, and he's not equipped to play from behind. Now, yes, Notre Dame has a very strong defense. They can perhaps keep it close, but I think there's going to be a big play from Louisville, and they're going to go up 7 to 10 points, anywhere between 7 to 10 points, and Notre Dame is just gonna not going to be able to keep up simply because they don't have the quarterback in place that can make those plays. That's more apt to use his legs to make plays than to use his actual arm.
Yeah, Alex, what a big time weekend of NFL and college football. Cannot wait for these games. Now, look, last week, guys, if you haven't been checking out these episodes on the podcast, we've been doing these each week. We're switching it up this week, doing it on YouTube. But if you want to check these out, we're going to be doing these every week. NFL and college football preview and betting picks episode. Last week, Alex, I went a combined between college football and NFL. I went 8-5. You went 6-7. Not bad, but we're hoping to heat up this week, Alex. So let's get it going.